Clerk, could you call the roll? Treasurer, could you call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Boynton?
Here in Van
Trustee
Buren
Miller?
Township.
Trustee
Here.
Miller?
Here
Where are you?
in VBT.
Trustee Martin?
Here in Van Buren Township.
Trustee Frazier?
Here in beautiful Van Buren Township.
Treasurer Bud is here in Van Buren Township. Clerk Wright?
Let's say that he's excused because he's having technical problems of some sort.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Supervisor McNamara?
Here in Van Buren Township.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. Today's executive statement summary. The consent agenda. Oh, excuse me. I skipped right over the meeting of the Pledge of Allegiance. I am sorry. Let's pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
Indivisible.
indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. It's indivisible. Okay. And we are being broadcast live, and we are being broadcast on YouTube, as always. All right, executive summary. The consent agenda consists of the board meeting minutes, the special board meeting minutes, prepaid lists, and the voucher lists. Unfinished business today includes discussion on the adoption of the township vaccination mandate and its policy. New business includes discussion on the consultant agreement for James Taylor, effective through January 31st of 2022. Discussion on reinstatement of late fees, penalties, and shutoffs for delinquent utility accounts, and discussion on the selection of Ideation Orange for phase 1 of the Township Park sign project with an amount not to exceed $150,000. Discussion on the request from Remax Crossroad from Remax, who's a real estate broker on behalf of the property owner to grant an easement by the township on a Belleville Lake property to correct the encroachment problem that was probably created 30 years ago, and you'll understand that when you see it. So that's about that. Let's see. We move on to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
I have a
Support.
motion, and I have support by who? I didn't hear.
Frazier.
Frazier?
Frazier.
Okay. Got it. I have a motion. I have support. Hearing no further questions. All in favor? Can we
To do
all
a
in
roll
favor?
call.
Roll call.
Trustee Boynton?
Yeah, yes.
Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Clerk Wright is momentarily excused. Treasurer Bud is a yes. Supervisor McNamara?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving forward. Adoption of the revised agenda. The agenda has been revised to Dan Selman. I am removing the approval of the Melancourt PLC bankruptcy package thing. It is being removed because when we received it, it had to be approved by the board by the 30th. There's been an issue. Therefore, the 30th is no longer a deadline because they're going to be making some changes to the agreement. So I'd like to have that removed so that it is now a revised consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So
Through the
moved.
chair,
Yes. Treasurer
I
Bud?
make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the removal of item number 6. Approving would be item number 1, the board meeting minutes of August the 3rd, 2021, the special board meeting minutes of August the 10th, 2021, and the budget review, a prepaid list of August 5th, 2021, prepaid list of August the 12th, 2021, and the voucher list of August the 17th, 2021.
Support.
Support by Mr. Boynton. Okay. Consent agenda, it's non-discussable, so could you please call the roll, Treasurer Bud?
Treasurer Bud is a yes. Trustee Boynton,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Clerk Wright is momentarily excused. Supervisor McNamara,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay. All right, moving forward, we are now into the public hearing section. Moderator, is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak on any matters? Go ahead, ask. Make it be known that clerk writes back.
Currently, there is no public comment in the chat or any virtual hands raised, Supervisor.
Excellent. So I'll go into the announcement stage. I'll start. We have what's called a Tap the Tap, Rethink Your Drink initiative. Tap the Tap. Water and Sewer Department has kicked off their public engagement program with Tap the Tap, Rethink Your Drink. We're pushing the fact that we've got good water and you should use it, and you should use refillable bottles. We have 2 water bottle filling stations now in the township hall, and they've got me drinking water now. And residents can receive this very, very cool called Nalgene bottle, 32 ounces. It's got it's got Van Buren Charter Township on it, and it's free if you fill out a survey that's on our website. Waters can be picked up at our water services desk here. We've had 80 people fill out the survey. They can come get a water bottle anytime they want. None of them showed up yet, but that was today. So it's getting out there. Also, I'd like to make note that this is the last day for the splash pad. Will be Labor Day, September 6th, Monday, September 6th, last day for splash pad. And on a less fun note, as always in August, the Yahoos come out onto the lake. The speed limit is continually broken. The go fast boats get faster. Drinking gets heavier. The sandbar gets more used. We love you dearly, but we are going to announce, we are announcing a safety campaign. We're going on social media. I'm going to put out ad in the Belleville Independent in hopes to get people to slow down, and in hopes that the people that our police officers are going to ticket this weekend and next weekend and the weekend after that with a 0 tolerance towards speeding will not get too many Belleville citizens. So please take note. We're done. I mean, it happens every August, and every August we have to do the same thing, and it goes away once we start writing tickets and once we start letting people know we're serious. So that's that. Does anybody else want to make any public comments, correspondence, announcements, or presentations? Nope. Clerk Wright, you're all good?
What?
Did you have any announcements or presentations?
No, I don't have anything. I'm had a hard
Okay.
time trying to get on here this evening. I don't know what.
I saw you, then you disappeared. I don't know how. We excused you until such time as you showed. Unfinished business. Discussion on to consider approval of the adoption of the township vaccination mandate policy. Director Sumter, are you out there? Well, actually, can I get a motion?
I make a
Yeah.
motion.
Trustee Miller. Okay, second,
Support.
Mr. Martin. Okay. Trustee Sumter, are you out there? Trustee Sumter did have an issue today, and it was a senior citizen that needed our help, and she took the real kids out to take
She's not
care
a
of.
trustee, first of all.
What?
She's not a trustee. You said trustee Sumter. She's not a trustee.
Oh, that's sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
Nicole Sumter. She had a we had an issue with a senior citizen. She needed to get something done with it, and so she took the real kids and headed out. She said she'd be back, but obviously she's not. So
Director Sumter is in as a panelist right now. It looks like all he needs to do is unmute.
All right, bring her up.
It would seem she's having a hard time with her microphone.
All right. So we have worked with the police and the fire and the ASME union. We have come to an agreement that we believe is workable for all. Basically, there will be a mandate vaccination, but we're going to do the same mandate vaccination pretty much that they're doing in the NFL and some of the bigger groups. If you are vaccinated, then you don't have to wear a mask. If you aren't vaccinated, then you have to wear a mask and you have to be tested weekly. And it's on you. I mean, if you're in your own space, you're fine. But if you go into somebody else's space, you have to get the mask on. We're not going to be taking a he said, she said, or who approach to. It's on that person that was supposed to wear a mask in this mask in the building all times, unless they're in their own personal space. Nicole, where are you?
You're doing great, Kevin.
She is currently calling in.
Okay. So, in addition to that, we are looking at giving a bonus to each employee that does get vaccinated, and offer a township-wide bonus if we get to 100% vaccination, and that vaccination is it would include medical and religious reasons, which there aren't that many. But that means anybody that's vaccinatable for any other reason than that must get vaccinated. Did we decide? I know what we decided on. I'm pretty sure what we decided on. Treasurer, what was the numbers?
It was a $500 bonus, and then if we got 100%, it was $250.
And this excluded elected officials.
Correct.
So,
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, say again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I was having problems with my Surface Pro. I could see everybody, but I couldn't talk. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Same
go ahead,
thing.
do it again, because I may have missed something.
Feel bad. That's what I was at.
Supervisor McNamara, you did a wonderful introduction on the vaccination policy. We did meet with 3 of our unions. That's the both POLC, Patrol Dispatch Command, and MAS. We did come to an agreement with all of the trustees actually putting in their input into this policy that you all wanted completed from the last board meeting. There is some caveats included, such as incentives, where anyone that was vaccinated prior to October 1st will receive the $500. And the goal is to get to at least 100% vaccination. And if we get to that point, everyone will also receive the $250. And that will be paid to be paid out at the February 2022 payroll, that first payroll. At this point, the unvaccinated employees will have to test every 7 days at this point. They still must continue to wear a tightly fitted mask, continue social distancing, and non-compliance will start the discipline process as outlined in the CBA. Testing should be run through all health insurance. If the employee does not have health insurance, they need to contact me. But the testing should still be free at this point. We gave direction as to if they decided they did want to get the vaccination, that is included in the policy as well. And we are still offering the reasonable accommodations for those employees. But I do want to be clear, the policy, although you do have a reasonable accommodation, you are still considered unvaccinated. Therefore, you will still have to be tested every 7 days. So I think that covers everything that was in the policy. And with that, I'll take any questions the board may have.
Through the chair.
Mr. Miller?
So, Director Sumter, we're doing testing. We're asking that our staff be tested, unvaccinated staff, every 7 days. But we didn't say what type of vaccine they were to, what kind of test, COVID test they would take. Would it be the rapid test or the one that takes a little longer. Rapid is immediately within a few hours. And the other test, I forget the name of it, but it takes a couple of days. What are the details to that?
We did not discuss which test that they should take. It would
Yes,
be
we did.
completely
Yes,
up
we
to
did.
the.
They should be taking the PCR test, which is the one that does the nasal swab, not the rapid test. We did discuss that, Nicole.
We didn't put it in the policy, none. I'm sorry.
Well, I think we
misspoke.
should add that. Just to be
Okay.
clear.
I can kind of go along with Clerk Wright on that as well. We were doing the nasal swab test. I remember a discussion on that as well.
Well, I've
Okay,
had the
that should
rapid
have been
test
put in
and
policy.
also swab.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I've had the rapid test and that's also a nasal swab. And I've had the regular 2-day test and that was also nasal swab. There's no difference there, just how they're named as far as how they take, you're given the test.
Only difference is the rapid test is not that convenient. I mean, not convenient, but it's not what's the word for it?
Not as accurate.
It's not as accurate as the
Right.
PCR test. You
Well,
can take
that's
the
why-
rapid test, but they normally recommend it doesn't.
That's why I think it should
doesn't
state,
pick up all the antigens that the PCR test does.
okay. That's why it should be stated what type of test that they're to take. Thank you.
So we're adding that into the policy.
Yes, that one small change, yeah.
Okay,
Under unvaccinated employees, the first one.
All right.
all right, my phone is not ringing. So I'm
That's
good.
gonna also affect, we're gonna have to put that in the LOUs as well, because our policies, they are the exact same. The only difference with the LOUs is they have just CBA language added to it. So I'll let the unions know that as well.
Well, Nicole, I thought we talked about this because some places don't even cover the rapid test. So rapid test would be charged. It would be charged for a rapid test. Not all places even
Yeah,
cover the.
there were a lot of conversations going on, Clerk Wright, and some of them I was a part of, some of them I was not, because I know I would have put this in here, because I know me, Adam, and Mark, we worked really hard to get it all together. It's not an issue. I'll just go ahead and make sure it's added in everything.
I
So
mean,
the
we didn't
policies
have
are
that. We didn't have that conversation in the meeting with Adam and the union. This is just this conversation we had regarding what tests should be taken. I thought we discussed that. I don't
I'll
think.
go ahead and I'll make this added.
I think we could just tell what test we want to discuss. I don't
You need
necessarily
to
have to be
specify.
in
Yeah.
the LOU. I mean, it's consistent in the LOU that they're going to be testing weekly. We can tell what kind of testing to take. I don't think that needs to be in the LOU. We can just say, we
But
can
it's
just
gonna be
give
in
the,
our policy?
No.
no, I'm just saying, we can just indicate what tests to take. It doesn't have to be in the LOU. We already have this determined that we be testing weekly. What tests we want them to take can be just indicated by management.
Excuse
Shouldn't
me.
you have it in a policy?
Oh, hold on. So you just said something very, very key here. So I hear the board. Can you just write it up that they have to take a test that's approved by management? Because there's just so many, I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but I hear you loud and clear. You don't want the inaccurate short one. You want the good one.
We want the one that's going to be more
around
accurate,
here
which
that
is-
we're not paying a lot of money for, that there's not 5 good ones and we only name one of them. Just I'll do what you've told me to do, but could you just say that a test approved by management to make it,
Sure.
I don't get stuck in a corner.
Yep,
I want
I'll
this
make
stuff.
sure it's added.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. All right. Are there any other questions? Okay, I have talked to the unions, obviously. They don't seem to think that it's important to get on, so they're pretty happy with what they got here. So we'll leave it at this, okay?
Okay.
All right, is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, clerk, could you call the roll?
Yes. Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes, with the change, yes.
trustee Boyne,
Yes.
trustee Bud,
Yes.
yes, from clerk Wright, supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes with the noted changes.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Moving on to new business is the first item would be the discussion of a consultant agreement with James Taylor. Can I get a motion?
Supervisor, I make a motion to recommend the township board to approve the proposed personal services contract for James Taylor to act as the management consultant for Van Buren Township Water and Sewer.
Support.
Okay, Bud. All right, so I've got, all right, I guess I'll discuss it. I sent out an email. We had a candidate take over for water and sewer, but obviously we would have liked to have some overlap with our current water and sewer director, teaching him what goes on here. That contract fell through. There are currently 6 openings, I am told right now, in water and sewer departments. And unfortunately, what's going on are people are doing the musical chairs. So 6 opening spots mean that 6 guys that have got jobs are moving into those, and then 6 guys that have got jobs are moving into those. And until everything settles down, we may have some trouble finding somebody. Director Taylor, I don't think there's a lot of discussion here, is uniquely situated as a sole source person to fix or to run our system and teach the new person. So we've asked him to stay on. Director Taylor, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, just thank you, board, just for the opportunity that I have here. I'll be able to also assist with the daily operations with Chris and make sure that he's supported in what he does, and that many of the functions that I perform are going to continue. So there won't be any interruptions in terms of making sure that we're meeting our regulatory compliance deadlines, that we're meeting all the projects are moving forward as we would have them move forward. And then, of course, when we do select a candidate, I would be able to assist in that transition and help you guys move forward from there. So that's the purpose for this, is to really try to provide a smooth transition and keep the work moving forward.
Director Best, do you have anything to say?
I believe this is the best option for the township to continue to provide top-notch water and sewer services for the community in the situation that we're presented in. I think former Director Taylor is the best person for the job, and because of his unique insight, experience, and position, we would love to. We believe he's a sole source provider, and we believe he is the best person for the job.
Through the chair,
Trustee Miller.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Taylor for all his years of service to Van Buren Township. And it is and continues to be greatly appreciated. Mr. Taylor's skills are very specific in detail. So I'm thrilled that we're able to have him as this consultant, because we really need it at this time. And until we have someone on board and who's totally acclimated, this is a must.
And we have ordered a plaque for him, and we'd like to say properly goodbye. We were a little confused at how to do that, since we made him come to work the day after he retired.
He's up to it. He's up to it.
Yeah, he just showed up to work today. I don't know.
Lost.
No, as I had told a few people this morning, I cleaned my shed out and organized it this weekend. So the amount of tasks at home are beginning to mount. So I've got
Oh, we
things.
thought you were bored.
Yeah, but no, I just want to say I do appreciate the kind words and the sentiments that other board members and others have expressed over the last few days, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm very glad to help you guys out in this transition. Just so I would like to mention one last thing is that I'm in the process of also writing your emergency response plan for water and sewer. Part of the things that, or part of the items that the state and EPA is wanting in an ERP is a transition plan for management. They want to know that you're going to have people on board to keep the continuity of your system operating. And so this is kind of a working model, what we're doing right now. And this will be included in the ERP once it's completed. So just to give you a heads up on where we're going with this.
We have good people, but nobody wants your job. All right. Any other questions?
Just that the mileage will be what the state has given township officials, correct?
Yes.
That's in our policy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, Clerk Wright, would you call the roll?
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Boyne,
Yes.
treasurer Bud,
Yes.
yes for me, Supervisor McNamara.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you,
Thank
board.
you.
Welcome back to work, Taylor. Taylor.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. You're up again. Next item is to discussion on and to consider approval of the reinstatement of late fees, penalties, and shutoffs for the delinquent utility accounts. Can I get a motion?
Director Best is going to present that, and then I'll just be here if you have any other.
I need a motion first.
To the chair,
Trustee Martin?
I make a motion, we consider and approve the reinstatement of late fees, penalties, and shutoffs for delinquent utility accounts.
Support.
Frazier? Okay. Director Best?
Thank you, board. I think it goes without saying that the township and the board of trustees showed great deference to and compassion to the residents of the township on March 16th, 2020, when it suspended utility shutoffs, late fees, and fines for water payments due to the COVID pandemic and the economic impact that it was providing or causing to our residents. However, as time has moved on and we've moved into this phase where we're recovering from the pandemic, other communities are starting to remove these suspensions. And where we are right now is that I am recommending that the township rescind the order that from March 16th, 2020. If you decide to approve the rescinding of this order, shutoffs, late fees, and penalties will begin to be applied upon the new billing cycle in October of 2021. No late fees or penalties will be back charge from prior to October 1st, 2021. All late fees and penalties will be given a clean slate starting October 1st, 2021 as regards to any delinquent water accounts. One question that I know all of you have is, does that mean we're not going to collect the outstanding water bills that are out there for actual water service? And in fact, the water service payments still need to be made, but the township is not going to be going and collecting any of the outstanding accrued late fees or penalties from those times. Another question that you may have is, how many outstanding accounts do we currently have? From the report that Tammy Doring did today, we ran the report for delinquent water and sewer accounts with past due balances of more than 60 days, which is when it becomes the penalties and fees start accruing. Of our accounts, there are 854 accounts that have past due balances. And the balance, and that's about, Jim, you might want to help me out. There's over 8,000 accounts are right around there.
Well, we have 10,000 households, so I'm
There-
sure.
Yeah, but there's just under 8,000 accounts. That's what there is right now.
Right, thank you. And so with that, that of that 200, so we would be collecting of those 854 accounts, that total amount of water service bills just for the service of water that's outstanding is $288,976,000. So $288,976. That's what I said. I always get reading numbers wrong. And of those 854 accounts, only 274 have not made a payment at all. So a lot of those people who have outstanding bills are paying as they go as they can, which is common for our water department. We have a payment plan system that's put in place. But of the 854, there are only 274 individual accounts that have not made a payment at all in 2021. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that Consultants Taylor and I will be happy to answer your questions.
I will add on shortly that I have reviewed the 874 late ones. There are only maybe 5 or 6 that are over $1,000. We have incredibly cheap water bills here. I think mine was 105 for the last quarter. So it's they're up around 500 is about average. $500 to $700 would be the really late ones. It's not horrible.
Through the chair. So will we send them out a final notice or anything saying that we're rescinding this to suspend utility shutoffs? So they know that this is no more. You got to start paying.
So what will happen starting October 1st is the billing cycles and late fees and penalties will start over. And what happens is they get that first billing payment will be sometime in November, and they will be sent a bill with their total amount that they owe, and they will, just as it's a normal bill, so they'll get the total amount plus the new amount, and it's handled just like a regular bill. The second billing cycle, which would put them 60 days in as part of our policy, 2 billing cycles. At that point, they would get a past due notice and start the process again. But you have to remember, they'll get a bill in November and then they won't get a bill again for 3 months. So now you're talking December, January, February. So they wouldn't be in the penalty late fee phase in jeopardy of getting a shutoff notice until, well, they'll get a late payment notice in February, and then the process would begin for penalties, late fees, and potential shutoffs. However, as Director Taylor will talk about, we have a process that we do internally for payment plans and other such things, and I'll let Consultant Taylor talk about that.
Yeah, we do have a process in place so that we are allowed to there's enough flexibility to give people time to make payments. We do have a schedule that we set up with them based on their ability to pay. Also, any residents, and particularly seniors, can also qualify for the WRAP program, which also provides some additional assistance to those who may be near a very low income level. So there are pieces in place for us to assist and help residents get caught up on their water bills. Our first thing is to try to reconcile and make it work. We do not try to impose a heavy-handed shut-off policy. We will do that if necessary. It does call for that, but we are able to mostly avoid that through reconciling their accounts and getting a payment schedule. As long as they keep to the payment schedule, we're okay with that.
Any further questions? Hearing none, clerk, could you call the roll?
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Boyne,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
treasurer Bud,
Yes.
yes for me, supervisor,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank
Thank you,
you.
board.
Thanks. All right, moving on. Discussion on to consider approval of the selection of ideation orange for phase 1 of the Township Park sign project. Can I get a motion? And I guess I can read the motion too.
So, oh, you want the motion read?
Yeah, yes, Don, why don't you read it, trustee Boynton?
I move that we consider approval of, I move that we approve the selection of ideation orange for phase 1 of the Township Park sign project for a not to exceed cost of $149,910.
Support.
Clerk Wright. Okay. I think that would be Director Renault and Director Best.
Good evening, board. On February 16th of this year, the Board of Trustees approved our new park signage designs. So we're bringing them back to you. On July 16th, an RFP was issued to get our preliminary prices for the different sign types in our family. Bids were received and we opened them publicly on July 30th this year. We received 6 bids. The low bidder, MI Custom Signs, withdrew their bid after the opening. After that, we invited 4 firms to a post-bid interview. 3 firms were interested in moving forward in the process, and interviews were held over Zoom. Our interview team was made up of Jennifer Zangline, Tammy Doring, and myself. So after the interviews, the township interview panel made up of, like I said, representatives from both community services and public services. We discussed the 3 firms and we came to a unanimous decision to recommend to the board to hire Ideation Orange for the park signage project. $150,000 has been allocated from the building and grounds capital outlay for phase 1 of this project. We're recommending the fabrication and installation of 4 large entry signs in addition to the demos that would go along that for phase 1. This would maximize our available funding for this phase of the project. It would also allow us to gain a discounted bulk price on the masonry work. So we wanted to get this on the agenda as soon as possible to get this project going. So in the meantime, since we've submitted, we worked with Ideation Orange for them to update their prices to reflect that discount and what it would look like. And I put it in the packet as a not to exceed cost of $149,910. But the actual cost would be $136,565 for the 4 large entry signs and those demos that go along with them. So in partnership with Public Services, we at Community Services are recommending the selection of Ideation Orange for phase 1 of the Township Park signage project for a cost of $136,565. Like I said, phase 1 will include fabrication and installation of a large entry sign at 4 parks. That is Quirk Park, Riggs Park, French Landing Park, which we currently have construction of phase 1 of that project going on, and then also Van Buren Park. And like I said before, demo is included in this price. If approved by the Board of Trustees, phase 1 will be completed by the end of 2021. And then we also have $120,000 allocated in building and grounds budget for phase 2 in 2022. So at this time, we can take questions. Mo Meadows from Ideation Orange is with us to answer any questions as well.
Can you, hi Mo,
Hi.
we wouldn't mind seeing the signs. I've forgotten what they look like, if you don't mind, or.
I can share those, or do you have it, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I have it up. Give me 1 second.
Then we'll let Mo talk about the signs and then we'll ask for questions.
Use my scrolling.
Okay.
Oh, crooked. Okay, so that is the large entry sign, which is we will be doing 4 of those as part of phase 1. That's what we're recommending at those 4 parks. Because we get a discount to do more than one masonry sign at once. That's why we're recommending doing it that way instead of, focusing on just doing French Landing Parks signs all at once. That way we'll get the biggest bang for our buck, and we can do some of these other signs in phase 2. So this is the small entry sign. Then we also have a general park rules sign where we would put rules of different parks on. And then this is a directional sign. And then the last one is an amenity sign. So this could be at the sled hill, this could be at pavilions, the community garden, things like that. And then that's an image of all of our signs in the park sign family.
Question, will the fonts be the same font throughout, and what font will be used? Because those look different.
Yep, so we'll be using our township brand font, which is Futura Book. Ryan can tell me if it's not, but I believe that's the name of it. At this time, when we designed the original signs, the wording on those were just, for an example, and the font and the colors will match our township's branding.
Where is give us an example of where we can see this font. Is it on the overpass?
Nope, that is not the township font. Ryan can chime in, but it should be on, the township website, all of our logos. That's what the font.
I meant anything around town that's already got it up? Nothing?
Nope, but we plan on that in terms of the gateway signage that will have consistent branding as well.
I don't mean
the gateway signage.
Would the signage above each room that's Futura, correct, Elizabeth?
Yep. Yes.
So in the township above, like the Rawsonville room or the Denton, that's all Futura, and the logo itself that we had, the signs that were designed recently, those are all Futura as well in the township.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, hearing no further discussions. I know this is about the 4th time we've seen this in the last 2 years, but I'm glad it's finally to the end. Clerk Wright, could you call the roll?
Yes. Trustee Boyden?
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Treasurer Bud?
Yes.
Yes for me. Supervisor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, board.
Thank you, board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now into looking for a motion for approval, and somebody wants to read all of this, they're welcome to. This is the adjustment to the Lakeside home to fix a problem that they've got. Does anybody want to make the motion, or do you want me to?
Go ahead and make the motion.
I will. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of the request by Remax Crossroads broker Glenn Savenis. It's on behalf of the property owner Lisa Gelb to grant an easement from the township as owner of Lake Parcel 83-073-99-0013-702. To the owner Gelb, 12800 Lake Point Pass, parcel 83-07699-0050-000, to correct an encroachment over the township lake property. I have made the motion. I am the maker of the motion. Can I get a second?
Support.
I'm sorry, was that Miller or who was that? Miller.
Support.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Director Power, could you take over? And there's Glenn. Okay, Mr. Savenis, go ahead.
Sure. Good evening, board. Thank you for having me here to give an overview. This request relates to a property at 12800 Lake Point Pass on Belleville Lake, of course, here in the township. This parcel has a house that was constructed on it originally in 1973, according to our assessing records, with a small addition that was built around 2000. What you have here is a home whose a substantial portion of the original home, somewhere between 200 and 1400 square feet, was encroaching over the township lakes property. Additionally, when an addition was put on to a different portion of the house around the year 2000, an additional roughly 80 square feet was found also to be encroaching over the Township Lake property. To resolve this issue, one easement was granted by the Board of Trustees in 1987, which brought the larger encroachment into a position where it would not cause any issues with the title of the property or the transfer or sale of property. The same is not true of the smaller encroachment. And so what the applicant is seeking tonight is for the Township Board of Trustees to consider a new easement to be granted as stated by the supervisor from the Township Lake property as an easement to allow the continuation of that addition over the other portion of the property. As this is a matter for the township to consider in terms of the property that it owns on the lake, it is really a matter for the Township Board of Trustees and not for the Planning Commission or BZA to consider. And so the decision is the board's tonight to vote. I do recommend that you take action one way or the other on this, this issue in consideration of the easement. And I encourage you to invite Mr. Sylvanus to describe a little bit more about his request and to explain the rationale behind it a little bit more in depth. Ultimately, if this is approved, then there would be a recommendation for the sale of the appropriate fair market value of this easement, as well as for a recording of the final format of this easement, including the final dimensions of it. So with that, I would just turn this over to the applicant to describe his request in greater detail. I'm here to answer any questions though, and have a map if that helps as well to show at some point tonight. Thank you.
Let's have Mr. Sylvanus, and then, you know what, do you have a map of the actual encroachment?
If you like, I can show an aerial photo or I can show a surveyed map.
I want the survey, just the survey.
Yep, I will work on pulling that up.
Okay, Mr. Sylvanus, could you begin?
Well, it's just a small piece of property that what we have is there's an encroachment of an addition that was built 20 some years ago. And the problem now is the title company will not insure that property because of that encroachment onto township property. That's the issue that we have. You do have protections in place for other things, but a title company, everything's changed a lot. Title companies, mortgage companies, insurance companies, but the thing that's needed is on this is a 3 foot easement for that property that goes into township property. And then there's a little bit more on the side, but it's very, very minimal. It just evens everything out. It makes it a lot better for a future buyer. They could run into the same problem again, but if it's solved now, they'll never have to come back.
Okay, so I'll tell you why it's coming before you and why we are asking you to approve this. Normally, we do not do this. We do not approve easements. If they build on our property, they can knock it down. This person actually, they probably got a building permit back in 2000. There's enough in this building to show that they did come here for information. There's little notes, but there's no building permit we can find. So the question is, did they actually have a building permit? The other problem is quite frankly, we want our citizens to get as much for their houses. We want them to be able to have mortgages, and we want them to be able to sell them with mortgages. And that little section there that you're seeing, it's only a couple of feet. It's causing them not to be able to get a mortgage. We don't want that to happen. It wasn't their fault. This was done. The person that bought this house bought it like this 20 years ago. So it's not even their fault. So that's why we're here. It wasn't their fault. Somebody back in 2020 knew this was happening and let it. And the people want to sell their house and they can't now. We are going to ask for our money though, for our easement. And at 3 feet, how much money is that, Dan? I had you recalculate that number.
Yes,
Go ahead.
it's a number that is, apologize, I have to, oh, it's $9,462.
Glenn, that's how much money your person's gonna have to come up. Is that a problem?
No, not at all. We appreciate your looking into this and try and solve a problem. Thank you.
So we do not provide easements for anything but physical structures because that's all you mortgage. We don't provide easements for decks. We don't provide easements for docks. We don't provide easements for pools. Anything that was built on on our property that was grandfathered into the lakefront ordinance is still on our property, and we are not providing an easement for it. But this is about a mortgage, so we want to make sure to take care of it. Any questions? Hearing none, clerk, could you call the roll?
Yes, trustee Boyne,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Yes for me, supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll get the paperwork
Thank
to Mr. Sylvanus.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
next we
George.
move into reports. We have none. We move now for public comment on non-agenda items. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak?
There are no virtual hands raised and nothing in the chat at this moment, Supervisor.
Thank you. Is there anybody from the board that wishes to make a comment on anything at all? Hearing none, I call for adjournment. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
That's got a movement by Mr. Boynton, support by Mrs. Budd. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned.
Good night, everyone.